Eighth Global Family Office Investment Summit here in Dubai. We have another fantastic interviewee with us. We have Miles Pelham, who is chairman and Diginex. Sir, it's good to have you here.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
First of all, tell me why you are here and why it's so important to take part in such an event.
Sure. Well, this is obviously a fantastic forum. I think we've got some of the world's largest family offices that are in attendance. And it's important for us to be a part of the dialogue to not only point out the benefits of blockchain technology, but also the limitations. And family offices are quite unique in that they've normally, for the most part, been founded by a businessman or a businesswoman that has built a business or a number of businesses. And a lot of the time, those businesses still sit within the group. So although you have a large number of very powerful investment decision makers here, we're also having dialogue with the guys that have oversight over group companies. And those group companies are usually, or predominantly because they've generated a lot of wealth, industry leaders, and they want to understand how blockchain is going to affect the competitive landscape of their arena. And of course, if they want to be successful, they want to know how to leverage that. And the most successful companies over the next 5 or 10 years are going to be ones that not just leverage blockchain technology, but all the technological advancements.
Now, your company provides its customers with a number of services. So let's start off with the traditional one. What are the main themes that have been highlighted today as far as traditional investments are concerned? For instance, a lot of time has been spent talking about a potential US slowdown. What do you think? What are the main trends that you foresee in the coming month?
Being an ex-banker, obviously, I've got a view on the macro environment, which is, that we're likely to see a slowdown in growth for a number of reasons. But that means that slowdown in growth means the more foresightful CEOs and investment managers are looking for technologies which can enable and increase growth amongst their businesses. And of course, blockchain is the technological advancement of our generation. And if they don't leverage blockchain, they can't really expect a huge amount of growth or growth that exceeds that of their competitors.
So, could you elaborate on how a business can leverage his blockchain to get a better profitability, to get better results?
Well, at Diginex, we're focused on two main streams. That of financial services, which is disintermediation of traditional financial models, which increase speed, lower costs, and enable greater adoption of financial products. But also on the blockchain solution side, which is blockchain technology for corporates and governments with which to enable better trust, more security at cheaper cost. And it's not to say that blockchain is the answer to all problems, but certainly blockchain will change the way business processes happen in the next 5 to 10 years, likely to touch on every individual over that time period. And the biggest corporates absolutely must have a strategy with which to deal with this.
In the past 24 months, we have just shifted from ICOs to secure token offerings. Yeah. What is the basement of this, the base of this shift? Why this shift happened, and why the second technology is better than the previous one?
Sure. It's not necessarily that one is better than the other. There's use cases for both of them. But certainly 2016, 2017 saw incredible hype around utility tokens, which is effectively enables startups to forward sell revenues by selling this token at ridiculous valuations. It's not that the underlying premise that the utility token wasn't useful. It's more that we're in such a nascent early stage that it was hard for people to correctly and adequately forecast what the true value of these utility tokens were. And it was unregulated. You had a lot of bad actors that were producing utility tokens with no business sense or no kind of underlying business model that could actually be achieved. 2018 has obviously seen a slowdown in the market. We've had a correction in the asset prices of digital assets. And what we're seeing is the emergence of security tokens, which is exactly what we're focused on. At Diginex, we're strongly focused on highly regulated, highly compliant business models that sit within the securities regulation that is the existing one, and also new regulation that is coming out to put frameworks around that of security tokens. And security tokens, I believe, there will be spectacular growth over the next 5-10 years. I think the World Economic Forum is predicting that there'll be $8 trillion worth of digital assets held within blockchain networks by 2027. I think that's a gross underestimation, but still that's a significant scale. And it's the security token framework within a regulated wrapper means that this is open to all corporates to be able to do it in a responsible manner.
Including the small and medium enterprises?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the flexibility that this new technology allows is that it allows access to all different corporates. It's not just the biggest corporates, to which to build digital assets that not only have a securities function in it, for example, that you can get 25% of certain revenues of a certain business line, but you can also, let's say, if you were to do a big debt securitization of a stadium, you could issue a digital asset level that enable people to share revenues, but also could give the user access to a seat in the stadium or access to tickets at a pop concert that's there. So it's incredibly versatile. It just needs to be managed in a responsible, professional manner, which is the advent of kind of security tokens. And so the reason it's called security tokens is because it's based on specific regulation.
And last question, how artificial intelligence and algorithms are changing the way you carry out your investments?
So I'm building Diginex as a blockchain company. We have technologists in our company that also utilize AI and market learning algorithms. It's not necessarily that I'm changing the investments. We certainly have a broad suite of technology offerings that utilize blockchain and AI. For example, we are currently working with the Mekong Club, which is an anti-slavery organization, to put on the blockchain indelible records of migrant workers, employment patterns, employment contracts, pay, and all this sort of stuff.
And last question, how artificial intelligence and algorithms are changing the way you carry out your business or the way investments are carried out in general?
Yeah, look, I certainly feel that artificial intelligence is one of the key technological advancements of the next 10 and 20 years as well as blockchain. We obviously don't invest specifically because we're a technology company ourselves, but we certainly have technologists within our business that use AI and market learning algorithms to leverage the use of blockchain solutions that we have. For example, we have a contract with an organization called the Mekong Club, which is an anti-slavery establishment. We're using blockchain to create indelible, immutable records of employment contracts, clauses, payment terms, all of these sort of things. And we've got an AI overlay of that to make sure that we're really making sure that bad actors in that respect, using forced labor, can't get away with it.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Pelham, for this interview. Thank you.
Thank you.